Thank you so much for your confirmation, and it's good to see that you all are active on the chat as well, because it gives me a lot of energy. I have kept my video on and you're free to keep asking questions, and I will keep asking questions in between, so you can type in the chat window. The first important thing is, because we are doing it online, sometimes we might have a network issue at one of the ends, right? So if somebody is facing a challenge in hearing me out or seeing my screen, but so they will be typing in the chat window, I cannot hear, I cannot see. And if there are other participants who can still hear me and see the presentation, you just type down loud and clear, right? So if I see multiple loud and clear or L and C in the chat box, it means that the problem is not from my end. And I would request the participant who's having difficulty in hearing me to log off and log back in again. You will not miss much. I'm going to go and wonderful. I can see people have already started typing. So Diksha, Nishita, Nishant, Bhagyashri, wonderful. So you understood the context, make it as loud and clear. This program is about setting an introduction to data science. You will also get a flair of how do I teach and how will it work out. So what I plan to do is I'm going to cover the topic in for 50 to 60 minutes. I'm going to give you time for question and answers. And apart from that, if we get some time, we will definitely do a hands-on exercise also, right? Thank you so much. So with that, let's get started. So I welcome you all to this introduction session of data science. And I love this subject because it gives me a lot of satisfaction when I can do programming, though I come from a management background, right? So I come with 21 years of experience and I have worked with some of the Fortune 500 companies. And to be honest, except for Africa, I have traveled to all the continents. So I have gone to consulting engagements I've done. So whatever I'm teaching you now is the theory part, because this is my way of giving it back to the society, because my experience, I can share it with you. Tell them, how do you think? How do you analyze? Apart from that, my student has won an India level competition on data science. So you can go to my LinkedIn and find it out over there. So, and it was, the best part was, though he was not from IIT and IIM, he was able to crack it at the top level. And currently, because of the winning of the competition, he is currently in Germany enjoying his new job that he has got because of the data science participation which he has done. So which we will learn as we go further. I have done a lot of consulting engagements. I've done a lot of trainings. And these are some of the logos that companies where I have gone and done my training program, consulting programs, and did a lot of process improvement, saved a lot of money for those companies. And that's in short about me. I invite you to stay connected with me. You can just type Dimple Sangvi in Google and it will take you directly to my page of LinkedIn, right? So I don't have a website yet as it, but on LinkedIn, you can definitely stay connected. So my name is Dimple. Here it is. So I've just typed my full name. If you type this on Google, the first option which you get will be my LinkedIn profile. Okay, yes. Thanks, Nisha. Nishtha, correct. Okay, so today's agenda is, I'll give you an introduction to data science. How does it work? What are the different terminologies we use? Give you it's like watching a trailer movie. So if you want to watch the Bahubali 2 series, you have to spend 7-8 hours. But you still want to understand how the movie is by watching a 30 seconds trailer. So what we are going to spend today of 1.5 hours is just going to be a trailer, because this subject is very vast and it has a lot of practical applications that are possible, right? Is my pace of talking comfortable to all of you, or do you want me to slow it down, or do you want me to go a little faster? How is it? It's okay. Nishta is active, Bhavna, Jayashree, Tejashri, Santosh, Rohit, Deep. Wow. Now the chat box is just running, so I'm not able to read the names. So wonderful. It's wonderful to see all of you participating, right? So before we get into the game, if someone wants to master playing guitar, what that person needs to do? You can type in the chat window. Okay, I'll give you one more hint. If someone wants to master playing cricket, find a teacher, understand the string, practice, study about it, find a coach, practice, 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 practice. Yes. So the most important thing is more than finding a coach or the best trainer, it's important for you to practice, 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 practice. So as many times I see in the chat window practice, you will have to practice along with me. Though you come to the best trainer, yes, find that interest and do the training and practice, practice, practice. Right? If someone wants to play basketball, they also need to practice. Apart from the training, so the training is given to all the 20 participants, all the 50, the coach trains all the participants. But still, it is some of them who make it to the top. And those are the people who have given a lot of effort from their end by practicing. So I just want to set the context very clear that if you are going to join this program, you will require to practice as much as Sachin did, as much as Dhoni did, and as much as any of the Olympics gold medal player has done. Right? Because we are going to give you the training for all of it. Some of the rules, keep ask. So keep asking the questions. If it is relevant, it needs to be answered then and there, I will answer it. If it is something which is going to get answered in the future classes, I will ask you to keep it in your parking lot. But the second important rule is practice, practice, practice. So if you plan to join this program, you need to come with an intention that yes, whatever she's going to cover, I need to practice it at least 3 to 4 times with the same data set, with new data set, and go back to her with more questions. Right? And one more rule is to have patience. Why? How many of you have been to trekking? If you have been to trekking, type me in the chat box. Sonal has been, Nishikeet, Santosh, Kesinath, Rashmi, Atul, Samir. Wonderful. So most of you have an idea about how do you go for trekking, right? When you go for the trekking and we have 10 participants who are climbing up the mountain hill, if one of them stays back, so just say, for example, Gaurav is little behind. I, as the head leader of the trekking team, should I go ahead leaving Gaurav behind? Or should I ask some of you to go and ensure that Gaurav is also able to catch up the speed and then we all go as a team? The second option, right? We need to ensure that even Gaurav is with us. Same way, when I'm teaching these concepts, some of you will get to understand very well and you will be able to do the coding very fast. Some of you will find it little difficult to cope up. And hence, I might ask some of you, like for example, I might just say, Santosh and Rohit, can you help out Kashinath in solving this? Or I might stay back if there are multiple people who are having challenge, I might go ahead and repeat the entire concept one more time. So that as a team, everybody is able to climb the mountain and enjoy the trekking journey. So in this journey, you are not a competitor to each other. You all have enough jobs. So currently in the market for data science, there are 10 times more jobs than how many people are applying. So don't worry that, okay, if I learn faster, I will get a job first. Everybody will get a job and everybody will get a role on it, right? And we need to go as a team. As a team, you need to practice a lot. As a team, you need to ensure that everybody is able to get into this field of data science and predictive analytics, right? Be enthusiastic. Look forward to new topics that I'm going to train you. Initially, few parts you might say, oh, I already know this. I've done a Google search. I went to Quora and I read an article. I saw a small YouTube video and I have an idea about it. Udemy, Coursera, all these things have given an introduction, and most of you, I'm sure, would have completed the first 2 lessons at all these platforms. But the journey begins after the second chapter. And hence, I want you to have that enthusiasm with you that, oh, let's see what am I going to learn tomorrow, right? So looking forward to new topics, and what we are going to do is going to be an important skill which you need to acquire. You need to be enthusiastic. When the doorbell rings, you should have that question, who's there, right? because every time it will be a different person. Same way, when you come to the class, though we might give you a timetable that we are going to cover linear regression, logistic regression, and so on, you should have that enthusiasm that there might be something new element over there. And what can I learn from there so that I can apply when I go back to my real life? Are you all with me? So type down WU with you in the chat box if the rules are okay. Wonderful. I really love the energy of this group, and I'm really blessed that you all are my participants today, because this gives me a lot of energy apart from drinking some energy drink. If I look at the chat box buzzing like this, it gives me a lot of energy. Okay, so many of you will have a question. Can I learn data science? I have heard my friends saying that, oh, it's very difficult. What is data science? I have done some Google search, but I don't understand. Why should I learn it? I'm not an IT professional. Or maybe if you are from a different department, are you till now thinking that I should get into sales, or I don't have development experience, I don't know Python, I don't know this. If you have all these type of questions, your questions will definitely get answered today, right? So do I need to know programming? Will I become a programmer at the end of this course? The answer is no. I'm not here to make you as a programmer. I'm from finance, so it will be what will be my role. You can still, Bhavna, you can still do analytics. I have done my master's in commerce, and I have done some consulting and engagements for some of the big banks. But still, prediction is something which every industry needs, whichever part of the industry you are. And you can work as a data scientist, have a team of members who can do it, right? Your part will be more of analyzing and helping the organization make the decision. And you will understand, right? So none of you are going to become Python programmers at the end of it, but you will know that much of Python that is required for you to do this job, right? You will be learning Python to build machine learning models, which will help you do the job. You're not going to develop websites using Python after this course, right? Is that clear? If it's clear, type down clear. Okay, so there's a question which just burst off. I have been a business analyst through my career. How can I make career in data science? You can definitely make a career in data science because you understand how in business analyst you were taking the requirements, so you understand what type of requirements are available. So changing from any field to data science is not difficult at all, right? I have 13 years of non-IT experience. Will it be easy? Yes. I'm also not a programmer, but I can now code and build predictive models, and I can help my students build a world-class real life data models, right? How much of math is required? Whatever math and statistics is required to be known will be covered as part of this program. Life science domain can be in algorithm be there. Yes. Even for life science domain, we will be doing algorithms. I take programs on healthcare analytics because healthcare is a very important domain. Having faced COVID recently, it's important for us to have data science, predictive analytics over there as well. And the reason we had 3 levels of lockdown, and today where the whole world is facing the 4th wave of COVID, India is not facing it. It's because of the excellent predictive models which our country had made. At the end of this course, I will definitely want to share the link where when India did the 3 lockdowns in the year 2020 and had the least amount of cases when compared to the other countries who are less populated, it was a standing ovation for the data scientists of India who built that model and told that how our lockdown should be managed, how the green zone and the red zone should be managed. My sister is studying food science. Can she develop career in data science? Yes, she can also develop career in data science. What will be the day-to-day responsibilities of a data scientist? We will come to it. We'll come to it, right? So I hope I don't have to cover. Will I be able to do data analysis? Will I become a machine learning engineer or a data scientist? Yes, you will be able to build all these models. I'm a .NET developer. Can I do a career in data science? Yes, Komal, you can do your career in data science. Your preference should be to become a machine learning engineer, and little bit of unlearning you will have to do, because with .NET, you're very rigid with your code. With Python, it's very easy. So maybe some bit of unlearning is what you will have to do, right? When you think about data science, what do you think? What comes to your mind? I'll take the other questions relating to your profession after 4, right? So Maithili, Santosh, and some of you have asked the question, sorry. Relating to your career, can I take that up after, means from 3:30 onwards? Right? So keep your questions, write down your questions in the parking lot. Let me cover some bit of it. Most of you will get an answer, but if you still did not get the answer, the last 30 minutes are reserved for Q&A. Okay, so you are saying analyze data. Sorry, I'm trying to move. Wait. Just the chat box is buzzing and I'm not able to read it out. So prediction, research and information, it's an engineering task using data and so on. Wonderful. Right? Some of you might think that, oh, there is a lot of data, a lot of numbers, whatever I have done. And what is the nature of a scientist? When somebody says, I work as a scientist, what comes to your mind? Managing huge data, research, discover, research, inventions. Yes, very true. You are doing research and invention if somebody is working as a scientist. So if somebody is working as a data scientist, he is doing a lot of research and invention about his business, about his product, wherever he's working on. So suppose if somebody is a healthcare expert, he would try to do research using the data of healthcare. If somebody is working in LIC of India, will take up the data of the LIC and will do some research and invention. Okay, how will I be able to sell more policies? Where is the chance of this person claiming for a policy? If somebody is working for TVS Motors, will somebody come? Who all will come for extra servicing done? Who all will stop taking servicing from me? If you are working in Samsung, you can predict how much sales of TV will I have compared to the mobile phone, right? So you will definitely continue to do research and invention, but this time instead of chemicals, you will be using data for doing that research, right? So who is a data scientist? The first and the most important thing is he's a curious and result oriented person. So if you feel that I'm not a curious person, I don't want to, if I don't want something which is uncertain, I want that if the bell rings at 10 o'clock, it should be a newspaper fellow. If it rings at this time, it should be a milkman. And you don't want anything which is unexpected, then data science is not a field for you. You should be somebody who loves to be curious about what's going to happen next. Because when you do analysis using your data, you will be driving yourself towards new inventions. And that inventions can happen only if you're curious. Otherwise, do you think when Madame Curie invented radium, it was before that nobody was able to observe it? Many people would have fallen into that experiment, but would have left it in that I am in search of something else. Let me not worry about what different color I see over here, right? So if you are not curious, if the data is showing you some graph and you say, no, I am looking for this as a problem. I'm looking at salesman as a problem. I'm looking at the client as a problem. I'm looking as a product as a problem. There might be something which is glaringly coming in front of your eyes, and you will decide to close your eyes and you will not be able to invent anything new for your company. So curiosity is something which you need to develop. What is the story the data wants to tell? You should be people who love data. Because if somebody comes up and says that I like to do research, I have been doing research for 10 years, but I don't like to play with numbers. I don't, when I see Excel sheets with 10,000, 100,000 records, I just close it. Then data science is not a field for you. When you see a lot of data, it should give you, oh, let's see what this data is going to tell. right? You should have ability to think logically. So if I'm going to give you a question, I gave inputs as 2 and 2 and it gave 4. I gave an input of 3 and 3 and it gave 6. And I gave an input of 4 and 3, it gave me 7. What could be happening over there, right? That model is going to be built by machine learning. You are going to write the algorithm, but you should know what questions to ask and which model to be applied. Are you with me? Wonderful. Right? If you become a good data scientist, you will have to interact with the CXOs and the senior leaders in your company. You might just have 1 or 2 years of experience. You might have only 10 years of experience, but becoming a data scientist will give you an opportunity to directly interact with the senior most people in the company. So when you go to them, how can you do your communication? How can you show them that what have you invented? What is the bulb on moment you have found for that company? If I make a combination of this product and this product, when you go to Amazon, you are logging in and it immediately gives you a pop-up, a special deal for you when you buy a particular shoes with this. And you know, this is exactly what I wanted to buy. And you go and click on the button, buy now, make the payment, and you are done. But when you pick up your mom's phone and go to Amazon, it doesn't give you any such deal. What's happening over there? You pick up your dad's phone, he gets a different type of deal. You pick up your sister's phone, you get different types of deals. What is Amazon doing over there? Yes, it's building an algorithm. But when the algorithm is a later part, you as data scientist, you're going to go and tell to the management, I am going to give you some combinations. Yes, cookie tracking algorithm and analyzing the data. Agreed. Okay. Now just come back to the class. What is happening over there is you as a data scientist will be going to the management and telling, I need 50,000 USD to run a campaign whereby I can give you a $5 million sale. Why? Because I have come up with those combinations which should be popping up in different things, right? Because when they are giving you deals, there is a discount element. Who is going to pay for the discount? If you as a customer is not paying for the discount, who is paying for the discount? The company is investing. So instead of putting up an ad in a newspaper or on Google or on YouTube, yes, prediction based on previous searches. Very good. It's definitely that's a prediction based on previous searches, Ibrahim. But to make that prediction a reality, you will need money. And to get that money, you should have that skills of convincing your management that please give me this much and I will show you that this much of results are revenues I can generate for our company. Amazon is also the biggest hub of data scientists because there is a lot of data on which they sell. What user will do next based on the previous field? There are costs, yes, very true, Mayur, that yes, we are able to create forecasting, we are able to predict, but converting that prediction into reality will be your job, right? And so that you can deliver tangible results, right? You want to deliver tangible results. So are you clear what's the role of a data scientist? One of you had these questions. What does a data scientist do in a day-to-day job? Right? This is what I understand from my experience of 21 years. Though Google and YouTube and everybody will have its own answers, this is reality what happens on the floor. You have created a model. You have to ensure that that model which is on paper inside a computer should come as a reality and it should come in the bank account of the company. Right? You should have a basic understanding of an algorithm. Here, I'm not asking you to understand the algorithm in a very complex way, right? What I'm requesting you that if I give you some simple algorithms, if I say 2, 2, 4, or if I'm going to tell you like 2, 3, 4, 5, right? or I'm going to tell you numbers like yes, no, passed, failed, selected, not selected. You should know how these datas are different, because you will be picking up the algorithm based on the type of data. We will do a little bit of it today, but a more will come when we start the program, right? You should have a logical mind. You should not be a person who will do only what we say. So if I'm going to say, you go from here, go take a right, and then you will find the second shop, pick up 12 apples from there, go further 50 meters, you'll find another shop, pick up 2 Mary biscuits from there. No, that was a role of a BA. BA used to create list of instructions, give it to the programmers, and the programmer was only doing the programming or coding based on the instruction he got. He was never thinking that will it make sense or not. He never came back to a BA and saying that instead of this, if we do it in this way, the program will be better. He will just prepare the code of based on the instruction or the business requirement document that the BA has given. But you as data scientist have to have a logical mind. You have asked me to check this, but what if I check something more? Why should I check this? Right? You should have that inquisitiveness. You should have a willingness to apply whatever you are learning over here into practice and ensure that you get results. Right? And there are many more examples. So these are just a few of them. Right? Now, data scientists would be related. What is the data analyst and data scientist? Would it be related? Data scientist is a much more bigger role. Right? So let's understand AI. We are hearing the term AI left, right, and center. We have Google, we have, what do we say? We have all the Google Assistant, and okay, we are aware of what both should be aware of being a good data scientist. Yes, Santosh, you are right. Right? So we are using the term artificial intelligence because we are making this machine think, right? Hey Siri, what's the temperature outside? Hey Siri, can you book this for me? Hey Siri, can you book the tickets for me? Siri, can I go out? What are you doing? So what is Siri doing? She's giving you answers to the questions, right? So Siri is an example of artificial intelligence, right? A subset of it comes to be a machine learning. So machine learning is also a type of AI, but here the use of statistical tools will increase. Siri is not thinking about statistics. It's thinking about finding an answer to your question, right? When you have a camera sensors on the backside of your car and you're trying to take a reverse, it starts giving you a beep sound. That's also an AI, right? Because it's able to sense that the wall or an object is coming very close. But when you think about machine learning, it is using data, it is using statistical tools, and you are building models. Either you're building supervised learning models, unsupervised learning models, or some reinforcement models which are for games, right? And the role of a data scientist is encompassing this. Apart from that, there are a lot of skills which are outside the AI world, which a data scientist is supposed to know. Those are the soft skills which I told you, right? Your leadership skills, your communication skills, your convincing skills. How would you convince your boss to sign a $50,000 check so that you can implement your logic on the floor? You should know a little bit of, you should know machine learning, you should know artificial intelligence, but you should know much more than that if you're working as a data scientist, right? Because you will have machine learning engineers who are hardcore into programming. You will leverage them and then work on it, right? Deep learning is one more subset of machine learning, which is using more complicated models, and it's working on just like the way when you upload a photograph on Facebook, it immediately says Dimple with Vani, Dimple with Santosh. How did Facebook know that this person is Santosh? It is running some algorithms behind it. And those algorithms is what is helping it to identify with whom is Dimple's photograph, right? So that's about deep learning, which is a subset of machine learning. which uses little bit of statistics, but it is more of neural networks that will happen, which is a different deep internal course in itself, right? You might have read this article on HBR, and if you have not read it, I would definitely say that go to Harvard Business Review. You have a very beautiful article which says the data scientist is in demand, the best job of 21st century, right? It is not about eradicating. Nobody is going to lose job. The number of jobs are only increasing. The manual jobs are the ones which are going to be lost, and creative jobs are what is going to come in. So that is the reason you all need to be creative in what you do, right? Earlier, we had a watchman who would take a danda and go from left to right in the society and keep shouting, "Jagte raho, jagte raho." Now we have CCTV cameras with sensors. They have not eradicated the job of the watchman. Now the watchman is sitting inside his cabin. If it's hot outside, he's sitting in an AC cabin and keeping a watch. Wherever he gets an alert, that is the place he's going. Securities have not lost their job. Their job has become more premium job now, right? They're wearing the suits and they're sitting inside instead of just walking throughout the night. Are you with me? Right? So remove that myth from your mind that, oh, jobs are not there. The jobs are more creative than required, right? Shushantu and Hemlata has raised your hands. I would, if it is relating to this, you can type your questions. And if it is something which can wait till the Q&A session, I would request you to wait and ensure that don't lower your hand. You can keep your hand raised so that you will, I will not forget to ask the question. I want to answer all your questions, right? The time is now. It's all known fact to you. This is an NASSCOM report which was published in the Analytics India magazine. 46% of the analyst professionals are in India. The reason, the biggest thing which is happening is you are based out of India. And hence the number of opportunities are much, much, much higher for us. You will definitely get your visa stamped and you will be flying. But it's also a known fact that India has more logical thinkers, more creative thinkers, and hence data scientists should be picked up from India, right? And the second best part is we are looking for candidates who have 0 to 5 years of experience. So it's, if you do not have experience till now, you were not getting a job. But now with data science, they know very clearly it's a new field. So even if you have 0 years of experience, if you are able to solve the model, they are directly taking you into that team, right? And we have more jobs than the number of data scientists who are ready. A small understanding. 0 to 5 years of data science experience. Yeah, so if you have 0 years of data science experience also, you will be picked up. 0 to 5 years of data analyst experience is also fine, right? So that is why I said 0, not 1 to 5. Because to get that first job itself is difficult, and then the journey continues. As I told you, right, one of my students is being selected. If you go to my LinkedIn post, you will find him. He did not have an experience, but he built a model based on real life data and presented it to the TVS credit. And they were surprised to the amount of savings they were able to get, right? They took that model, built that model. And now he said, oh, if you can do this being outside, if you're part of my company, nothing like it. So his graduation got completed in the month of May, but he got his offer letter in Feb only. So January was the competition, and by Feb he was having his offer letter in his hand, and there was no interview. He did not do. He thought that he will have to go for an interview, but without an interview, the offer letter was in his mailbox. But one thing which he did was practice. He used to get so many data sets and he would practice. So he knew what to think where, right? So I'll definitely get him in one of the sessions to give you an introduction that how he was thinking and so on. But let's come back over here. Traditional programming, data was given. The business analyst would give the set of rules in business requirement document. and the programmer would write a program or code to get the results that we want. And here we had a lot of testers who used to test whether the answer is coming as per expectation or not. But with machine learning, you give the data, you give the answers. It means you give the input, you give the output, and give it to the model. The model will create the rules. The machine learning model will create the rules, what has happened inside. And you can then test. The machine learning model will only itself test it. It's a very beautiful work that happens, right? So you are no longer going to sit and write a business requirement document if you are coming in the field of predictive analytics. Within machine learning, we have 3 types of programs. One is supervised learning. The second one is unsupervised learning. And the third one is reinforcement learning. So what does the word supervised mean? Currently, you are all attending the class. I am teaching you and I know the answers that I have. When you went to college, the teacher used to come in the class. They would teach you. They would ask you to write a test. Did the teacher who gave you a test know the answer to the question paper? When you were in school and college, the teacher taught you a concept, gave you a test. And when they gave you a test, did she or he know the answer to the questions? Yes. So that becomes an example of a supervised learning. I have the historical data of my company, right? And I know that when somebody was 18 years old, was a male from Punjab, and I did an inquiry on Policy Bazaar, he bought the policy. If somebody was 25 years old, was from Chennai, went to a different portal, went to a direct life insurance agent, did not buy the policy. So you have the set of parameters are the data. You also have the output. Did they buy the policy or not? What we are going to do is, I have the historical data and I'm going to build the model. It becomes a supervised learning. I know the input, I know the output, and then I can build the model. In supervised learning, you have 2 types of model: regression and classification, right? Regression means I want to predict what will be my salary. I want to predict what will be my bonus. I want to predict what will be my profit. So when I have a continuous data to be predicted, I build a regression model. And this is the place where I want you to have your logical thinking. Classification is I divide you into class. Did you get selected or not? Did the person experience a heart attack or not? Will the person is prone to diabetes or not? Will the person will buy the TV or not? Right? So these are the example of classification type of model. And that is the place within supervised learning, you will be selecting a classification model. Right? If I go to unsupervised learning, when you start working, some of you have an experience of working in the job. Does your boss sit and tell you that I want you to build a presentation and he already has an answer to it? He asks you to build a proposal. He asks you to do some work. Does he already have the answer ready with him? No, right? But he knows how to think and how to build that model, right? So that becomes an answer. So your boss is not sitting with you, teaching you and then asking you. That is unsupervised learning. You have the data is given to you, and then you are asked, can you find out what are the different types of customer segments which we are there? Where can I find the recording of this session later if needed? You will have to ask the organizer, that is Kalaivani and the admin team. But for now, if you just concentrate on this, you will be able to get it. You'll get the concept, you'll not forget it. Right? So unsupervised learning, just like the way your boss doesn't tell you what needs to be done, he gives you the data and tells you, can you find out something? So you can have your segmentation models over there. Customer segmentation. So Amazon has a lot of data, and then it is dividing its customer or segmenting its customer based on their behavior. Some customers will always go to Amazon, add everything to the wish list, but never buy. There are some people who buy in a range of 500 to 1000. There are some people who buy in the range of 5,000 to 50,000. There are some people who buy every month, they spend 1 lakh on Amazon. So they want different deals and different things to be segmented and given to the type of the customer that they are getting. And that becomes a part of your unsupervised learning. You don't know how many segments will be arriving after the analysis. You can also cluster them or group them based on the behavior. There is. Right. I'll just charge my laptop 1 second. Let me put up. Right? Clustering means you have different types of fruits and vegetables, or you have different types of ingredients, and you don't know, you have never learned what are they, right? You want to cluster them into separate groups. When we got this Delta virus, COVID-19, we have got different varieties of viruses, right? So how did the scientists find it out? They clustered them into different groups. The behavior of the virus was different. The behavior of the symptoms was different. And the behavior of response to the medicine was different, right? And hence they were clustered into different groups. And did we know what type of virus we were going to get next? No. Right? What is the difference between segmentation and clustering? Let me give you a better example. So if I have customers, I have a set of customers. These are two different types of algorithms, right? So the logic or the mathematical model behind it is working in a different way. So there is a, for clustering, at the end, both of them form into groups only, right? But we use a segmentation model of dividing them into based on similar patterns in segmentation, like customer segmentation, like the way Amazon does. Clustering would be more, but at the end, in both unsupervised models, you will have groups of data which will come out and they say they have similar patterns. The algorithm which we use is different, right? Let me think about a better example by the Q&A session. But in short, both of them will result in two groups of data, into multiple groups of data onto similarities of their behavior and pattern, right? The mathematical model in this, in both the cases, are going to be different. Splitting into categories, yeah, maybe Deepa, that is also one way of telling. So, no, in segmentation and clustering, both of them are unsupervised learning, Santosh. Both of them are unsupervised. You don't know how many segments will come out or how many clusters will come out. The algorithm are different. Here I use hierarchical clustering. So the model uses a different statistical model. In segmentation, I use k-means, right? So we will get into it more detail, but I'll give you a better example. Otherwise, what Deepa wrote is somewhat that I'm splitting into categories. I call it as a segment, and cluster is grouping them based on similarities. One is about finding the difference, one is about finding the similarities. But at the end, the output in both the cases is groups. Okay. Then third category is reinforcement learning, where even the computer doesn't know how to play. So when you start playing Temple Run, or you're playing Candy Crush with the computer, how is it that every time you are getting a different set of colors of pebbles, or you're getting a different way, whereas when your mom is running on the same level, she gets a different way or a different colors of pebbles? It's because if you get smarter, the computer also learns and becomes more smarter, because it uses a concept of points and penalties, right? So here in reinforcement learning, a machine is facing off a human, and humans are definitely more intelligent. All these models are built by humans. But we have now built a model in such a way that it is able to constantly learn and upskill itself. That's an example of reinforcement learning, right? Reinforcement learning, we will not be covering in this module. Let me be very honest, because it's about creating different types of games and then selling it. It's a different industry altogether. As a data scientist, you will be more interested in these 4 types of models and then getting into deep learning if you're interested, right? But if somebody wants to design games and get into a gaming industry, then there is a separate course on reinforcement learning. It uses a different set of algorithms and so on. And you will have to tweak it more on the point system. How many points, how many penalties, because that's how the system will learn and will try to maximize the points and minimize the penalties for itself. And that's where the complexity of the game starts increasing. Right? When you think about the data analysis, you had a question, right? How is a data analyst different from a data analyst? Is mostly spending time on the probability graphs. He's trying to create a lot of graphs and then he's trying to evaluate those graphs on the statistical things and then suggesting, okay, what? So you will do some bit of data analysis and you will also build the machine learning model. Right? Now coming to the life cycle of a data scientist, when you are designing a model, it's not a life cycle of a data scientist, it's a life cycle of designing your model. You first need RPA and ML difference. Yes, both are different. They are very different. For RPA, wherever you have a monotonous work, you set the rules and build a bot who will only do what it is instructed to do. Machine learning is about predictive analytics. You're using the old data and predicting what can happen next. Right? So for RPA, you will have to take a different program altogether. Data science is not for it. Right? Now coming back to the life cycle of the data, you have to first understand the business requirement. What is the problem? Thank you. The business is trying to solve. Do I want to make more sales on Amazon? Do I want to predict when will the next wave of COVID hit India? Do I want to predict how many days of lockdown will work? Do I want to predict not wearing a mask? How will it affect? I want to understand the business requirement. What are we trying to solve? Once you know what the business wants, you need to acquire the data. Because this data is what is going to help you. So you will now go and ask, where is the data and what data you have. You need to do some processing on this data because the data which you get may or may not be in a ready to use format. So you will be doing data processing. You will be doing some bit of data exploration or the data analysis, as we say, where you will be applying some basic statistics concept. You'll be putting up some graphs and understanding what is that the data is trying to tell. Post the graphs, analysis and interpretation, you will go for creating a data model. Right? And this data model will become your predictive models and they are working efficiently. You will go ahead and deploy this model. Does data processing include cleaning of data? Yes. It includes cleaning up of data. That is part of data process. Yes, please. What are the Python tools that are the libraries that we are going to use? But if data is not available, like the first wave of Corona, every day you're getting data, right? So you will keep upgrading your model every day. That becomes, Corona was an example of an unsupervised learning. We don't have historical data. Right? So how many of you were tracking this covid.org website? Not now, in 2020. Going to that website and checking how many cases identified, how many positive, how many neutral, and so on. Right? Everybody were tracking. And do you think the numbers over there were updating every day, every hour, every 2 hours? That is how they were acquiring the data. all the hospitals, all the pathology labs were instructed that you input the data and it goes over there, from where the data scientists were pulling up of the information and they were building on it. So unsupervised learning is the first phase of your real life analysis. But when we are learning, we will go with an easy model of supervised and then we will upscale ourselves to unsupervised learning. Right? So COVID was a new scenario. It was an example of unsupervised learning, and data, as and when we were getting the data, that's the time they were uploading it into the system. And now we have lots of data to work on. But there also they were enhancing. That is why they were saying, right, we have lockdown till 10th of May. No, now we have extended it to till 25th. Then they said this is a green zone. Then after 2 days, they said it's a red zone. Because as and when they were getting the data was upskilling itself and creating those segments and clusters and then classifying it. Right? The zones were clustered into these different red, green, blue zones. Right? Okay, coming back over here, we will be using these different libraries when we are going through the data analysis and data science thing. TensorFlow and Keras will be used when, and NLTK we will be using when we go to deep learning. Python and R, which one is easy and effective? Python. It's very easy. R is a statistical tool and it's very tiring to use R. So I would suggest Python because there is a lot of upgradation that's happening in Python, but R, there is not so much of contribution. Right? Now coming back, some of the popular libraries that we will be using is NumPy, SkyPy, Pandas, Scikit-learn. Visualization library. So as I told you, for data analysis, you'll have Matplotlib, Seaborn, and so on. So these are all the libraries which are available, and these libraries are also constantly getting upgraded. Right? So we will be using these libraries when we are creating our data science models. Some of the things, we will try to keep this program as simple as possible. You will have to go through each exercise that we will be giving you. You will have to type each file exactly that we give. Don't copy paste the file. I'll be sending you screenshots so that you cannot copy it and paste it. I want you to type and run it and understand what's happening in your code. Right? You are making the data work for you. A data scientist, the role of a data scientist is that you are making data work for you. Where is this data coming from? Any guesses? From where are you getting all the data? From people, users, database, customers. Right? Do you go and like some comments? Do you go and like some posts? Do you share them? Your emails, your swipes, your Twitter post, your tweets, your retweets, your uploads on the Google Drive and OneDrive and Microsoft Drives and Apple Drives. These are the places from where all the data is getting collected. The reason we are moving away from the hard disk to cloud is that we want as much of data as possible. Earlier, we used to click a photograph and keep it inside our house. And when our friends used to come, we used to ask them to open our photo album and show them, see, we went here, we went there. Now we click and we upload it on Facebook. Facebook is going to track where all are you traveling, right? And more likes for a particular place, more shares, you can understand how people are behaving. And these are all the different sources of data. And there you are understanding how are people responding. If Amazon is sending an email, and with that email, you're going ahead and sharing that with somebody and they go ahead and make some payments, all those links, cookies are getting tracked, and that data is helping you that what type of campaigns will be more effective for you. Right? Some of the application in real retail industry would be repeat purchases. When you go to Amazon, you go to your orders, it says buy again. People who bought this also bought this. So they are doing cross-selling. They are giving you a personalized recommendation. Last time you bought a red color t-shirt, with that this blue jeans will be very good. And hence I'm giving you a 50 rupees coupon code for it. How do you price the product? Sometimes you go and look for your tickets on Make My Trip. You go back, the tickets prices have gone up because it has understood that you're coming and searching for it again and again. Loyalty analysis, campaign analysis, market basket analysis, A/B testings, click-through rate predictions, segmentation analysis. All these are the different places where business data scientists will have an opportunity to work. Build models which will help you do this. Right? I just want to show you this video. And let me see if you are able to do.
4 years ago, we started to wonder.
You are the voice, right?
4 years ago, we started to wonder. What would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go? What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI?
You're not able to see the video? 1 second.
Hi. 4 years ago, we started to wonder. What would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go? What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store so you never have to wait in line? No lines, no checkouts, no registers. Welcome to Amazon Go. Use the Amazon Go app to enter. Then put away your phone and start shopping. It's really that simple. Take whatever you like. Anything you pick up is automatically added to your virtual cart. If you change your mind about that cupcake, just put it back. Our technology will update your virtual cart automatically. So, how does it work? We used computer vision, deep learning algorithms, and sensor fusion, much like you'd find in self-driving cars. We call it Just Walk Out technology. Once you've got everything you want, you can just go. When you leave, our Just Walk Out technology adds up your virtual cart and charges your Amazon account. Your receipt is sent straight to the app, and you can keep going. Amazon Go. No lines, no checkout. No, seriously.
They have already started this in 2017, before 5 years. And they have used this concept of machine learning, deep learning algorithms, and sensor testing. Right? No checkouts and these are working wonderful, and we should not be surprised that soon we'll be able to see this even in India. The next thing, so this is also possible. So if you're part of the Amazon team, you would be one who would be writing algorithms for this. Right? There is one more which I want to see. Just a second. This is also a beautiful thing, and it has really helped people start seeing the world differently.
I'm Saqib Sheikh. I lost my sight when I was 7, and shortly after that I went to a school for the blind, and that's where I was introduced to talking computers, and that really opened up a whole new world of opportunities. I joined Microsoft 10 years ago as a software engineer. I love making things which improve people's lives. And one of the things I've always dreamt of since I was at university was this idea of something that could tell you at any moment what's going on around you.
I think it's a man jumping in the air doing a trick on a skateboard.
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the Pivot Head smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response, and you think, is everyone listening really well, or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces, 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised, 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Here's your menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu, and it's going to guide me on how to take that correct photo.
Move camera to the bottom right and away from the document.
And then it'll recognize the text. Read me the headings.
I see appetizers, salads, paninis, pizzas, pastas.
Years ago, this was science fiction. I never thought it would be something that you could actually do. But artificial intelligence is improving at an ever faster rate. And I'm really excited to see where we can take this. As engineers, we're always standing on the shoulders of giants, building on top of what went before. And in this case, we've taken years of research from Microsoft Research to pull this off.
I think it's a young girl throwing an orange frisbee in the park.
For me, it's about taking that far-off dream and building it one step at a time. I think this is just the beginning.
So what did you see? Magic. All the big companies are investing in AI and they are touching lives in a very positive way. It's like magic. And you will be able to be part of this magic if you put your efforts in this, right? So let's come back. These videos are available on YouTube, so you will be able to go and see them later on also and show to your family if you want. Right? This is also one more place where you use machine learning, right? There are a lot of handwritten checks, and earlier the banks used to make somebody manually sit and do it. But currently, even though these letters are written by different people, people write 4 as 9 and 9 as 4. How can it read it correctly, right? That is also possible using machine learning. So the thing is, whatever tasks were making us feel boring, those tasks we should give it to the machine to do. And the creative and the intelligent job is what we should pick up for doing. The driverless car, we used to see it more in our Cartoon Network when we were kids. Now it's a reality. And it's possible because there are multiple cameras. So if you see a driverless car, there are multiple cameras which are fit on the sides, on the front, on the top, on the back. There are multiple cameras which are fixed, and these are constantly working using different algorithms, right? You have detection cameras, video cameras, 360 degrees, GPS tracking, and all those things, which then makes the camera. The car is not only a car without cameras, because now when the driver is not looking at it, somebody else has to look at it. And that's where your autonomous car is using the power of GPS, computers, algorithms, and ensuring that you are drawing it onto the car, right? Netflix also uses a lot of algorithms. The person who built the algorithm for Netflix had only participated in a competition, and he built that model and gave it to Netflix. And then That's where the changing of Netflix happened. Otherwise, before Netflix, the other OTT platforms were of buzz. But the model of how you should recommend, we all like the recommendation model of Netflix much better than Amazon Prime and YouTube. And that model was built by some youngsters like you. Facebook, how does it tag? That is also an example of machine learning and data science, right? So do you have any questions? Yeah, it's 3:38, so I think I can take up the last 20 minutes in question and answer. You can, okay, making all things possible. If a person has 14 plus years of experience and if they learn data science now, again, they will be fresher in data science? No, they will be joining as a manager or a senior manager, which is that answer is for you. Your experience is not zero. You should know how to leverage that 14 years of experience when you apply for your data science role. Best place to learn data science. You can definitely join us. Any specific books or videos for reference? So I would say Google is completely filled with it. You can just go to YouTube and see any example that you want to see. EdTech or renowned institute. If you want, you can apply through BITS, Pilani and all. If you're going through universities, let me be very honest, their recruitment procedure is so long that by the time you get qualified, you are halfway done. So maybe if you are interested to have a university degree, you are free to do it. Otherwise, do something which is very fast track and gets you on the job. What is the qualification required to become a data scientist? You should be a graduate in any field. When will be the next session? I will ask the admin team to tell you how to get in contact with you. I'm an engineer second year student, so you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Do you think it is the best skill one should have to enroll for data science? What if a person is average in statistics? You will learn on the way. Practice, practice, practice. Sachin also did not play cricket well on the first day. Can I know the name of your institute? So we are Times Professional Learning, which is is IIT Bangalore good for data science? Yes, definitely. It's also one of the good institutes. Can I find the roadmap anywhere? Or what roadmap of the course duration? Yeah, we will share that. I want to learn it. So Nishan says, I want to learn it on my own. From where can I refer? YouTube channel or book? You can refer to YouTube channel. Sonal Garg, duration of the course. Usually it will be 3 to 6 months course. Depending upon is it on all the days of the week, 3 days in a week, or only on the weekends. Any certificate for data science not required. I'm into insurance business since last 18 years, having good data set. Can want to learn data science for my business. Definitely, Nilesh, you can do it. Ma'am, you skipped my question, which is the fastest course and best one. Nishtha, your fastest course means fastest course for data science. Yeah. Any good YouTube. So fastest course for data science is you'll have to go through institutions like this, which will try to complete it in 3 to 6 months time. At least you will start getting opportunities to work on it, right? YouTube channels, there are multiple YouTube channels, so I would not name one. You are free to go to YouTube and search. There are many full course videos and all also available. But the only problem with YouTube is if you are not disciplined enough, you will never learn anything. Second thing is if you are having any doubt, you are stuck over there. I'm just telling out of my experience. I'm not against YouTube university. YouTube is also a very good university. But if you have a question, you type a comment and you wait for somebody to respond to that comment. Any other questions? I have 18. So Shraddha says I have 8 years of experience, but not in data science. Will the experience count? Yes, it will count. How much of coding is required? Basic English. If you can speak English, you can do coding in Python. Is DevOps a mandatory skill? No. DevOps is not a mandatory skill. NPMB. Yeah, so DevOps is not a mandatory skill. From where can I start data science? I'm 16 years old in SQL database. Will it help in my profile? If you're enjoying what you are doing, you can continue doing that, Deepak. But if you feel, no, I want to do some predictive analytics, maybe on the side you can start learning this course, and then internally within your company also you can apply, because you understand the database very well. It will definitely add up to your experience. Which course is the best in life science domain in data science with 11 years and no IT experience? Yes. See, the data science course will be a standard course where we teach you different models. Whether you come to me or you go to IIT Bangalore or you go to IIT anywhere, you will have to go through that structure. Yeah, Kalevani has put the details of the email IDs and the phone numbers you can reach out to. You can make a note of this. Yes, for course duration and charges, please write to the email ID over there, veerabhadra.patil. Can you just take 1 second? 1 second. Please take a screenshot of this, because that will be much more easier than, because in chat window, this chat is just going off up. Reach out to Veerabhadra Patil at times. Take a screenshot of this. Have the phone number handy. Right? Now coming back to some of you who have questions, how will we be covering? This is just a glimpse of it. So the tutorial content for statistics and probability, we will be covering what is regression, linear regression, logistic regression, what is the importance of R square. Even if you have zero knowledge, if you say that on a scale of 1 to 10, I rate myself as 1 in statistics, this program will ensure that you come up to 5 and 6. Right? What is probability? What are different types of probability? Because probability is an important concept which is being used when you build your models. In machine learning, this is how we will be covering supervised learning, unsupervised learning, time series, recommendation system, text mining, linear regression, clustering, all those things will be covered. Shall I move to the next one? The approach will be, we will be teaching you a concept. We will be doing a hands-on on a simple example. We will use a practice exercise with some complex data structure. So first with simple data structure and then with complex data structure. We will test your knowledge and we will give you projects at the end of each module. And you will have a final capstone project which you will have to do. Right? Will you be providing the jobs after the course? We will be guiding it to you. And as I told, please write down. Capstone is a major project based on real life data set. Okay. So before I just want to tell you how will I train, right? I still gave you an example of what all is possible using data science. Now, I would just ask you to give few seconds to understand how I'm going to teach you statistics and algorithm, right? Are you all with me? Do you want to do this small game with me? If yes, type yes. Wonderful. I have two hospitals, Hospital A and Hospital B. My grandmother is unwell and I need to take her to the hospital. Which hospital should I take her to if I have these two set of information? Type in the chat window, which hospital should I take my grandmother to? Yes, everybody is telling Hospital A. I had a friend in the hospital and I got some more information which told that this is the. So Mayur says best doctor and so on. Earlier you said A, now you are saying B. Now I'm going to ask, twist the question. My grandmother is not critical. You have only two hospitals, so either you're jumping between A and B. No. If I am applying the simple mathematics, 1000 minus 400 is 600. 800 minus 210 is 590. Now tell me whether my grandmother is critical or not critical. Both are at the same distance. One is on left and one is on right. Out of 900, 870 survived. And out of 600, 590 survived. Now, why earlier we said hospital A and now we are going to hospital B? Whether she's critical or non-critical, you are suggesting I should take her to hospital B. Why did the data misguide me? Survival rate was up also available and then also it was available. This concept is called as Simpson's paradox, where the data is confusing you between different hospitals. It is because of a concept called as lurking variable. So how to handle the lurking variables and all will also be covered. Basically, what I mean to say is, if I want to teach you a concept, I will tell you a story and then take you to the concept. So you will understand what is the practical implication of it. Survival rate is more in hospital B. The survival, very good, Amrita. Survival rate is better in hospital B, but at an overall level, it showed only 80%. Yes, it will be fun. Right? So coming back, please make a note of the phone number and the email ID. So if you have any other questions, you can definitely write to them and get the answers. Apart from that, if you have any questions, you are still free to type. No more questions? I think somebody had raised their hand at the beginning. So for all these technical questions, like whether about degree, about duration of the course, the brochure, the timings and all those things, please write an email to bhadrapatil@timesgroup.com and you'll get a detailed answer to this. Right? Vani, do you want to take it up from here? Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. And it was a fun interacting with all of you.